Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing Wicked Readings Horror Bingo Board. I am so excited to have this list together. I am so excited for spooky season to start. Now, Wicked Reading, if you go to their channel, I will link the video down below. All of the templates and everything, all the information is in her video. And if you guys don't know, this is her answer to our fantasy bingo. She wanted to put together a bingo board that was for horror readers. And as you guys know, I have really been invested in horror lately. I'm so excited about what I have on this list. I'm so excited about starting my own horror read-along. The book we are currently reading is so good. And so I'm just jumping on board with this as well because I'm so very excited to be delving back into my favorite genre of all time. Also, we have to discuss something else, the headband. As you guys may know, this is not my typical style. However, you might be able to see I have poison ivy and it has spread into my hairline, so I am kind of covering that. I know I shouldn't do that if I don't want it to spread, but I needed to record some videos and I didn't want to do it with the distraction of the poison ivy all over my face. So we are just embracing the rocker vibe with what I have and, you know, we'll deal with it. Okay, let's delve into the board. So I have my prompts and my list. I am sorry if you can hear papers shuffling. That was a really big problem in my last video. I'm going to try not to do that so much in this video. I mean, ASMR, sure, but who asked for that? I also have the Basic Bee coffee going right now. Starbucks pumpkin spice latte, the creamer to be specific. I am loving it, I'm loving that it's back. I am a pumpkin spice girly to my core. I am a fall girly to my core. And just another like small update before we get into it. I am going to be moving my library soon. So you guys will get to see all of that. I don't know if it's going to be in the next month or in a month. So we're kind of seeing how things go. I've been purchasing things for the new aesthetic. So I hope you guys like the new aesthetic. If you guys know what my Patreon is based off of, you probably already know what aesthetic vibes I'm going for, but I'm so very excited. Anyway, into the video. Okay, so the first book on the board is published in 2025. Now, you might notice a trend in some of these books. I have subscribed to Aardvark. Aardvark usually has the most popular horror offerings of that month, and I jump on them. So I was very excited to get House of Beth by Carrie Cullen. And no, I haven't started reading it. Those are just my Aardvark bookmarks. Says, after a heart-wrenching breakup with her girlfriend and a shocking incident at her job, Cassie flees her life as an overworked assistant in New York for her hometown in New Jersey along the Delaware River. There, she reconnects with her high school best friend, Eli, now a widowed father of two. Their bond reignites, and within a few short months, Cassie is married to Eli, living in his house in the woods, homeschooling the kids and getting to know their reserved neighbor, Joan. But Cassie's fresh start is less idyllic than she'd hoped. She grapples with harm, OCD, her mind conjuring gory graphic images, and she's afraid that she'll never measure up to Eli's late spouse, who was a committed homemaker and traditional wife. No matter what Cassie does, Beth's shadow still permeates every corner of their home. What does that say to you? Does that say Rebecca? Because to me, it absolutely does. I'm very, very excited to get into another Rebecca retelling. I'm very tempted to read Rebecca for spooky season. I have not read it in a very long time, and one of my best booktube friends or book friends, Izzy, bought me a beautiful copy of Rebecca. It's like a 50th anniversary edition. And so I want to delve back into stories like that. And what better than a retelling? Also, I'm a big fan of retellings if you haven't been here long. Second square is mixed media. Now, there were quite a few I could have picked for this square. There were a lot that were mentioned in the video that I was very interested in. Some have made it onto this, just not in this square. And I'm trying to pull a sticker off. I shouldn't do this mid-video, but it bugs me when there's stickers on the book in the video. Anyway, I've had this on my list for almost a year, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. So I wanted to pick up Night Film. Oh my gosh, I forgot how holographic that is. I've heard very good things about this. Now, I love things like Illuminae, Good Girl's Guide to Murder, things like that have a lot of mixed media elements in it. This one truly does have a ton of mixed media. Not to the extent of Illuminae, but you can definitely see, I'm sorry, I've somehow got the hiccups, that there is quite a bit of it in each part of this book. And so I'm very, very excited to get into this, see what this is all about. I don't know much about it, and that is intentional because with things like this, it's easy to give away things that could be spoilery. So other than a few reviews that I've seen of people who absolutely love this book, that's all I know, and that's all I want to know. Okay, and for indie self-pub, I'm going to put a TBR veteran on this list. It is in another room. I didn't feel like going in the other room to collect it. I'm going to put Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. I've had this book for forever. I promise it's been like 5 years, probably since I started BookTube. So I don't know what has prevented me from reading it, but I definitely want to get it on this list. I definitely want to make an effort to read it. It's sitting by my bed. That's how much of an effort I have put into reading it. It's sitting in there so that I will do it. But this is an epistolary book. A guy finds letters that his family left behind, and each new letter uncovers a new secret about his past that he didn't know, which leads to a very horrific ending. From what I've heard, it's disturbing. It is one of those that will keep you on the edge of your seat, and I really want to read it, but I still have not done it. So I need to get on that. My face is itching so bad. And then we have Paranormal, and another TBR veteran is going to hit this list, episode 13. Now, this has hit many spooky season lists of mine, and the reason I'm putting it on this list, the reason I have made a printout of this list, is because I have this book on audio. And oftentimes I forget about my audiobooks, the ones that I own solely on audio, because I can't see them. That is why I doom pile, which I'll insert a clip of my doom piles, because I totally took a clip of my doom piles. Like, I'll insert it at the end of this video. Doom piling is a thing for me. The reason I doom pile is so I see the books, so they are in my face when I go to sit down. Obviously, I do a lot of my reading, I do my gaming, all that stuff back here. So when I come back here, I have to see it in front of me. But episode 13 by Craig DeLuey is a book that has hit so many TBRs of mine, so many spooky season TBRs, and I just want to get it read. From what I understand, not only is this paranormal, but this has paranormal investigators as well. And if you are trying to hit hard mode, I believe that is actually what this square requires. So there you go. Stolen from another TBR. I haven't seen another TBR yet, so we are going to skip over this one, and in a vlog, I will let you guys know what book it was that I chose to put into that square. Vampires. You guys know me. I am absolutely obsessed with vampires. If there's a vampire book, I have bought it. Have I read it? Maybe not. I have quite a few that are on my TBR right now. I'm eagerly awaiting Empire of the Damned. That is the third book of Empire of the Vampire, I believe. And I will be, or no, Empire of the Dawn, because Empire of the Damned was book 2. Anyway, irrelevant. I love vampires. I will be dropping everything for that book from Jay Kristoff. But there is one that has been lingering on my TBR this year, and I want to get it read, and that is Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. I have said a million times, I am a huge fan of retellings, and this is a Carmilla retelling. I love Carmilla. It's not one of the standout vampire books for me because I do like a more modern writing style, a more modern telling of the story. That's why I think I will love this. This is a 5-star prediction for me. I love Dracula retellings. That will come up. And I'm just so very, very excited to delve into this one. Our next square is Water Setting. And again, I own this book, but it is very deep within a stack of books, and I didn't want to dig it out till I was ready to read it. But I have The Deep by Nick Cutter. Why do I own this book? I know nothing about it. The reason I own this book is because it's Nick Cutter. I read The Troop. I bought a couple of other Nick Cutter books after I read The Troop, and I haven't gotten to them yet. So I do know that this has to do with divers, so that's all I know. And that's all I really want to know, other than Nick Cutter wrote it. So I am prepared for a very scary time. The Troop was one of the most gory, gross books I've read. And I want to see what he does with an ocean setting, because to me, the ocean is terrifying. I hate fish. I hate fish. Now, if I can see the fish, they bother me less. It's whenever you get into the Oklahoma lakes and you can't see the bottom, and I know what lives in Oklahoma lakes. Should I show you a picture of an alligator gar? And so I don't really like the water. I love pools. I am a fish. I love to swim. But when it comes to getting into a lake or an ocean, I'm oftentimes reserved. I'm oftentimes not necessarily scared, but like, I don't want to do it. Horror movie Element. Now, this is a book that I have waffled back and forth on. To be fair, the authors that have written the horror movie Element into their books for the last year, because there's been quite a bit. I do want to read Bury Your Gaze. Bury Our Gaze? There's something like that by Chuck Tingle. But I also really, really want to read more Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Sylvia Moreno Garcia is one of my favorite authors. I have had some misses with Sylvia Moreno Garcia, but typically I love her books. And so I couldn't pass up the opportunity to read Silver Nitrate. I don't own it yet because this is not a trope that I typically like, which is why I haven't read Bury Your Gaze. So I am kind of excited about this because it's Sylvia Moreno Garcia, but also kind of, I hope I like it. I really, really hope I like it. Next, this author is going to come up twice on this, and I apologize, but this is an author that I have been wanting to read more from. I have figured out that I really love cozy horror. That is my jam. I don't really like other cozy things. Like, I don't like cozy murder mysteries. I don't like cozy fantasy, but cozy horror really does it for me. And I'm talking T. Kingfisher, Grady Hendrix, and this author. So I'm trying to delve into more of her works, and the next bingo square is to spell ghost or scare with the title and the author name. And I just got Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. So how could I pass up a haunted house book written by Rachel Harrison? I don't think that's possible. Also, is that a dragon tail? I really just want to know. It could be a serpent. It could be a dragon. I don't know. But it's a haunted house story by Rachel Harrison. I loved So Thirsty. I really liked Cackle. So I'm hoping that I will continue to love Rachel Harrison, and she will be one of those authors that is up there with Grady Hendrix and T. Kingfisher for me. I only know that this is a haunted house story. I don't want to know anything else about it. I know Rachel Harrison wrote it. That's all I need to know. All right, liminal spaces. I just had to kind of go with what people told me on what liminal spaces I could use. I know the Fade would count, like Dragon Age the Fade, stuff like that. But I was trying to stick with horror, and I realized, well, I think Wicked Reading actually said it in her video. Lost Gods by Brom is a liminal space. Now, I don't own this book, but it's the only Brom book that I don't own, so I have been planning to buy it. I do own it on audio, though. So if worse comes to worse, I could just listen to the audiobook of it. But I love Brom. I love The Child Thief. I have many... Oh, Slewfoot's one of my favorite books of all time. And I have a couple others of his that I need to tackle that I do own. But since the liminal spaces is what I was needing, and she mentioned it in the video, I was like, okay, we'll do Lost Gods because it's a book I have been wanting to read. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear snoring in the background. My dog is literally sitting right here behind me. He cannot stand to be apart from me. He is my little sticker. He can be quite loud. Okay, next is a library book. Now, I had a couple that I could have picked for this one, but I decided to go with You Weren't Meant to Be Human. I cannot read the author's name on the paper that I have printed out, but Esme read this, gave it such high marks. I read her review, which I only read like a little bit of the review. I don't want to know everything going into a book, but I was like, oh my gosh, if you liked it, I'm probably going to like it. And I passed it up when it came around for Aardvark because there were two others that I wanted, the Chuck Tingle and the Rachel Harrison. So I was like, two's more than enough. I have a bad habit of picking up three, but I was like, two's enough. We'll get there. These are two authors that I really want to read. So I kind of dropped the ball. And so this is going to be the one that I pick up from the library because I'm very, very excited to get to it now that I have seen Esme's review of it. Okay, next. The next space is picked by chance. So I will insert the video that shows you what I drew because I decided to get out my TBR jars. I use them for my TBR game, which I play when I am not participating in a readathon. I find it very awkward to play my game and give you a TBR that I don't intend to read because I can't make the prompts line up usually. So if I'm participating in a readathon, we don't play the game. If I'm not participating in a readathon, we play the game. Anyway, I have one that is horror, mystery, thriller, specifically only those types of books. And so I went ahead and drew Silence for the Dead by Simone St. James. Yes, I own this or it wouldn't be in the TBR jar, but it's at the bottom of another stack that I don't want to dig out until I'm ready to read it because everything's going to fall over. But I love Simone St. James. I have read 3 of her previous books. I love her writing style. I really wanted to delve into these because these are Gothic in nature. And if you guys know anything about me, you know Gothic is my jam. I will always gravitate to anything that says Gothic. I'm currently reading Salt Bones, which is a Mexican Gothic type story. Not the book, like the history of Mexico and a Gothic story. But I really, really love anything Gothic. And when I found out that Simone St. James had a Gothic series, even though these are series of standalones, I was ready for that. And I bought the first book. I haven't bought like the entire series. I'm trying not to do that anymore. But it is at the bottom of the stack. Like I said, don't want to topple the stack over to get to it. but I do own it. Okay, a book that I have been putting off. I've only been putting this off since the start of the year, but I do feel like I am avoiding it because I know it's literary horror, and literary horror is very hit or miss with me. I either love it or I don't like it at all. And I had this problem with Bat Eater. I didn't like the Bat Eater. I didn't like that one. And I didn't like Natural Beauty. But there are some that I have really enjoyed. And this is a King Lear retelling, I do believe. And so I have been very, very excited for that fact. And that is Julia Armfield's Private Rights. I do believe this is about graves, and they are being exposed because, is it set in New Orleans? Because this sounds like a New Orleans thing. I don't know. But in New Orleans, oftentimes when they have flooding, the bodies rise to the surface because they're not buried very deeply. And that's kind of what's going on here, is the area that this person lives in is being flooded and the bodies are rising from the graves. It says there's no way to bury a body in earth which is flooded. It is a fact consigned to history along with almost everything else. So I've heard very good things about Julia's writing, and I really want to get into this, but it's one of those that, am I going to like it? Am I not going to like it? It's a toss-up. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. All right, LGBTQ plus rep. This is not a hard thing for me to hit, but as I said before, I own Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle, so why not just go ahead and add it? It's actually really short, so I don't know anything about this other than Chuck Tingle wrote it, and I'm very excited to read a Chuck Tingle book, and oh my gosh, what is with the colors on this book? I don't know. But it does say an existential masterwork that, like life, is equal parts atrocity and delights. In Tingle's hands, the slow trudge toward mortality regains its sense of marvel. We are all lucky for the statistically infinitesimal chance to be alive while Chuck Tingle is writing books. Yeah, I'm just excited to read a book by him. That's what this is. Next is a buddy read, and our buddy read for October on I believe it's like the horror read along. Yes, the horror read along. I had to remember, was it Patreon or horror read along? For the horror read along will be Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna Van Veen. I loved My Darling Dreadful Thing. Is that the name of it? I hope so. I loved that book. I recently read it. I recently purchased it. It was so good. So good. And I loved the writing style. So I'm so happy to pick up another one of her books. And this is a Dracula retelling. I told you that it would come up. We have a Carmilla retelling and a Dracula retelling. Does it get better than that? I don't know. Not for me. Not for me. It does not. I love vampires just as much as I love witches. But this is about Lucy and her sister, and her twin sister, Sarah, is trying to figure out why Lucy is going mad and trying to help her. But things are going very, very wrong very, very quickly. And so I'm very excited to get to this. I do have it on my October TBR for many reasons. I have it for the horror read along. I will also be participating in another readathon. So I put this in for bully because we all know Dracula is a bully. And I'm hoping it sticks because there's not really much mention of Dracula in the synopsis. But if you know who Lucy is and you know the story of Dracula, you know what's going on. It's not a secret to us. Okay, and here's where I am going to shout out Covers with Cassidy because I needed a recommended book. And not that she particularly recommended this book to me, but she talks about it quite often in one of her favorite horror books that she recommends. So I will be picking up Intercepts by T.J. Payne. And the way she talks about this being a sci-fi horror blend, sci-fi horror blends are my favorite. There is nothing better than a sci-fi horror blend, in my opinion. Maybe vampires. Vampires and witches are about the only things that can trump sci-fi horror, but I tend to like any sci-fi horror I get my hands on. And that will come up again. But this is one that Cassidy always recommends, so I'm adding it to this list for that reason. Next is novella, and if you guys have been around, you guys know that I purchased quite a few novellas at the Buy Sell Trade not too long ago because they're so expensive when you try to buy them on their own for as little as you get. So I paid like $1 for quite a few of them because they were $1. The Ballad of Black Tom, Full of Rage and Passion by Victor Lavelle. I'm sure if you guys have been around BookTube, know anything about the horror genre, you will have seen this book pop up all over BookTube because I have. And I'm just very excited to get to it. I honestly don't remember much about it because I heard about it, I bought it, and then it left my brain. This often happens with ADHD as well, but I'm still very excited to get to it. Okay, next is Planty Eco Nature Horror. And I will be reading Don't Let the Forest In. I have had this on my radar for quite a while. Sid, she did a whole review of this that made me like want to read it so badly. And I have it on audio. How I have not listened to it yet, I don't know. It's not even one that I've forgotten about. It's just one that when I go to pick it, I'm like, maybe I should wait for fall. Maybe I should wait for fall. That's what hits my radar. That's what I keep telling myself. Maybe I should wait for fall. Perfect time for me to add this. This is another book that has already hit a TBR that's upcoming. So I'm very, very excited to get into this one. I've heard nothing but great things about it. Everyone who has read it has absolutely adored it. And this author has a new book coming out. So I would like to read this one and then get a hold of the new one because, oh my gosh, I'll just post an image of the new book because I saw it and I was like, Eco-Planty Nature, what about this one? But then I was like, maybe I should read the one that they wrote previous to this. So this is what I am putting here. Title includes a verb. Okay, let me just say my ADHD, PCOS, and PMDD have been battling hardcore, and I couldn't figure out what verbs were. And that's not true. I have an English degree. I know what a verb is, but I had so much like brain problems over the last month that one, I haven't recorded any videos. 2, I have not been reading what I'm supposed to read. And 3, I'm like, I just need a brain break. But I posted my image to my Discord of what I plan to read. And then everyone was like, Trinity, you've got like 6 books on your TBR that have verbs in them. Just do some switching around. And I was like, oh, yeah. And one of my friends said something about, can't you swap this one out? And I took it to mean that I wasn't going to like that book. So that book went off my radar for some reason. I don't know. I had some issues. Anyway, I will be reading Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. Now, this might get swapped. I've heard very good things about this. I've heard awful things about this. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. There's a chance I will DNF this. There's a chance I might not. What I know about this is that it is slow, and that is always a anti-buzzword for me. So we will see when we get through the rest of the books if this is what I actually pick up. But I do have a couple that are on my radar for this particular square. And Eat the Ones You Love is what I originally had. So there's a good chance I might read Eat the Ones You Love, but I do have Looking Glass Sound as the one that I have put on this list. Oh my gosh, my dog. Next is Second Chance. And listen, this is not a second chance. This is a third chance. I don't like this author. I don't like their books. This author, she's great, sure, but I don't like their books. I never have. I've not met one that I like yet. However, I have been working on a vlog. Yes, I have been working on the vlog, but it's taken me a long time because I haven't enjoyed the books that I've been reading for that particular vlog. All of the footage I still have, but I need to go ahead and finish that vlog. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. There is a solid chance that I DNF this. With the way that vlog has been going, I know my tastes. Let's just say that very few books do I pick up on my own organically that I don't like. Do I get books from the library and DNF them? All the time. But the ones that I buy myself, like I know I have a pretty good idea that those are books that I'm going to actually enjoy. V.E. Schwab, not so much. I did buy this book for that reason. Also, if she can't do it with vampires, can she do it at all? That's kind of my thought with this, is if I don't like her take on sapphic vampires, I'm not going to like anything she writes. So this is not just a second chance, it is a final chance. So that's all I have to say about this. Okay, a book with an animal on the cover is another one I can't believe I haven't read yet, but I'm glad I saved it. And that is When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. And it took me a while to realize there is actually a wolf on the cover. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out, but when I was looking for an animal on the cover, I was like, it says wolf. Let me pull it out. There's a wolf on the cover. This is another one that will be coming up in my next TBR video. So I'm very, very excited to get to this one. What I know about this is Nat Cassidy typically writes slow-paced, build up the horror type books. And this is not that. This is fast-paced, edge of your seat, on the run type of book. And I'm looking forward to that from Nat Cassidy quite a bit because I really liked Mary, but I haven't read anything else from him. So I'm hoping that this will be more up my alley than even Mary was. All right, a one-word title. I will be reading Parasite by Darcy Coates. I told you there would be another sci-fi horror that came up, and this is it. I have been dying to read this since I purchased it. Again, don't know what's kept me from doing so. I really want to get into it. This is about a girl who is on a mission on a outpost, and things start to go awry and she starts to investigate. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. I just really want to get into this. I've heard great things about it. Okay, debut book. Now, I decided I needed to read Rachel Harrison's debut, which is The Return. I have this on audio. I've had it on audio for quite some time, and so I'm putting it on this list. I know I should pick a debut author. That would be the way to go, but I have so many books by Rachel Harrison that I want to read. I own Black Sheep. I just got Play Nice. I'm very intrigued by her books because they fit the cozy horror stuff that I enjoy so much. And so I'm planning to read The Return. Now, this is also her lowest rated book, but since it's a debut, not surprised. And the next prompt is works with another goal. Of course, I want to read my book box books. That has been a huge goal of the year this year, to read the books that I own, the books that I am purchasing. And what better way than The Possession of Alba Diaz? I have been dying to read this. I have loved Isabel Cañas. I have the Hacienda, Vampires of El Norte. I have enjoyed both of those. So I just need to read more. There's a chance that if I like this one, Isabel Cañas can become one of my favorite authors, because there's kind of like that 3-book standard. If you rate 3 books 5 stars, they are a favorite author. Now, the Vampires of El Norte, I did give 4.5 because I did think the romance took over a little too much for my taste, and I didn't find the vampires all that scary. There were other things in the book that made it a horror as opposed to the vampires, but I really, really want to read this one. I've been dying for this release, and now it's here in my hands, and let's do it. Okay, for the final square of the board, we have social commentary. But there is a certain book I wanted to get on this list, and it didn't really fit into any of the other prompts, and so I'm putting it here, and that is The Lamb. I recently purchased the audiobook of this, and so I have been dying to get to it. We know this is about cannibals. We know this is about 2 women living in the woods away from society, and so I'm expecting some social commentary. I have heard that there is social commentary going on in this, especially about gaslighting and things like that, and so I'm looking forward to that. Gaslighting can be touchy for me, so we'll see how that goes, but I think I'm really going to like this one from what everyone has said. I'm not usually triggered, but there are some things that I just don't want to read about. Narcissism, that's one of them. Gaslighting falls into narcissism. So we'll see how that goes. But now that I have spent 40 minutes talking, let's go ahead and wrap up the video. I hope you guys have found some spooky books to read for yourself over the next few months. I hope you guys have liked the list I have curated here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I just want you guys to take in my ADHD doom piling, because it's a thing. It is a thing. Yes, all of these piles have purposes.